And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring Sarah on here. If you just give me 1 second. You should be able to unmute yourself and turn on your camera now if you would like. Saravanan?
Yes, Charles. Thank you, Charles.
I apologize. I'm butchering your name there. So everyone, Sarah is the training partner manager out of APAC for Palo Alto Networks. And I do want to do one quick plug for next week. If you have any colleagues that are in the North America region and they'd like to be participating in this kind of event, we are going to host this event for a second time. We're hopefully going to start doing this more in the future as well, so that we will have a APAC style timing of an event and a NAM style timing of an event. This way we can cover more people and get more questions answered. So with that said, I will turn the show over to you. I will stop sharing and the show is yours.
Thank you, Charles. And very delighted to meet you all for the JPAC session. And I also see many people across the globe. I'm sharing my screen.
Yep, looks good.
Nice. I'm going into the presenter mode. Hello, everyone. This is Saravanan Rajagopal. My colleagues here call me Sara in short. I'm the training partner manager at Palo Alto Network here. I'm primarily covering JPAC region. And I have 2 other colleagues in my team, Jujitsa Misalovic covering EMEA, Lisa Torrey covering North America.
Just to let you know quick, if you want to, on the bottom part of the screen there, if you want to hit that hide button, you can get rid of that white bar at the bottom.
White bar. Oh, yes. Good. Yep. Thank you.
No problem. All yours.
All right. So today, I would like to share with you some of the key changes happen in the certification and instructor-led trainings part in Palo Alto Networks. We make primarily what we did here recently is we did another round of key analysis, gap analysis in the team. Here in Palo Alto Networks, we would like to improve and improvise and introduce a new certification and instructor-led trainings offerings to customers, partners, guests, whoever wants to learn with a newer approach that make more relevant for today's world. So I would like to show you why we make that changes and then what are the changes here. To do some comparison with the existing training framework and the newer framework. And after that, I would like to go through a little bit in detail or give you some insight on how to prepare for exams, specifically for Strata and Cortex. Strata, when we say Strata, it's for network security. Cortex is for SecOps, security operations domain, where our products like XDR, or XIM coming in. Let's have a look at the current and the new role-based certification framework that we have introduced recently. The current training and certification that we have available in Palo Alto Networks, moving forward, I would like to call this as a legacy training and certification. And the newer one, I would like to call this as a role-based certification framework. The legacy certification and training frameworks are more focused on a product base. As you see in this screen, some of the exams, we don't showing all the exam. We are showing some of the product-based exam. It's a very specific to firewall, one exam specific to XOR, one exam specific to Prisma Cloud, and one exam specific to Cortex XDR. This is all a product-based exam, we call this. What we did recently is we tried to transform this certification into a new approach called role-based certification framework. With this new approach, we would like to give an options to the audience to identify where or what their role is that fits into this framework, and then they can start their journey by learning and taking the exam. And in today's sessions, we would like to go more detail on this role-based certification frameworks. We have not completely migrated from product-based certification framework to the role-based certification framework, we are at the crossroad now. And some of them are fully migrated already to the newer approach, and some are still in the legacy frameworks. And over the period of time, we will be introducing or replacing the legacy into the role-based framework. And I would say probably about more than 60-70% of the training and certifications are already done, which I'm going to cover in this session. The remaining about 20-30% of the certification and trainings, we're going to migrate this in the coming quarters. And to start with, I'm going to talk about the new certification framework, what we have created here moving forward. First, we would like to introduce a fundamental level training and certifications. And this is more meant for someone who wanted to start their journey with cybersecurity. Once they are done, they can move on to the professional level. In the professional level, we would like to introduce on a high level overview of our product and solutions. And after that, we're moving on to the specialist level. In the specialist level, and people like you, most of the people in these sessions are fall into this category called specialist level, and I'll explain this in detail shortly. And finally, we would like to create something called architect level. This is the highest tier of certification and learning path that we want to create. Now, let's go into this a little bit in detail. The fundamental level, you'll be focusing more on cybersecurity experts, or probably I would say like this, um, fresh graduate who wanted to venture into cybersecurity world when once they are graduated, or people in the mid-career switch, people like web developers, for example, they wanted to switch their careers to become a cybersecurity professional. This is a good place to start with. And we are introducing two certifications here. One is called Cybersecurity Apprentice. The other one is Cybersecurity Practitioner. This apprentice, we try to be vendor agnostic with the apprentice. And in the practitioner, we would like to bring the applied science approach where we would like to introduce our products, our solutions into these exams, where you're going to apply the knowledge learned in the apprentice into the practitioner. And the next level that we're going to create is the professional level. And in this professional level, this will give a high level overview. Imagine you are in a network environment, a solution is already designed, deployed, configured, and fully functional, and you have no experience in these solutions. What you need to do is you're going to access the console or GUI of that product or solutions, and then try to make navigation, see how it's function and how it works. So the professional level will have similar approach where students can learn the technology, do some basic operations by navigating the solutions. And to do this, we're going to create three exams for this. One is for network security, one is for SecOps, and one is for cloud security. For NetSec or network security or cloud security or SecOps, security operations or SecOps is already available. For the cloud security, we're going to introduce this somewhere in Q3 for Palo Alto Networks, which is last quarter, but it's been pushed to Q4. Hopefully, by next few more months, we're going to have this exam. Again, this is a roadmap, and roadmap may change anytime depending on the priorities. I'll talk about this cloud security in the coming slide as well to give you more insight. For specialist level will fall into two levels. Within the specialist level, we will have one focusing on how to deploy, design, and configure or install a solutions. The other one is called once the solution is designed and deployed, and how do we operate them in a deeper manner, and how do we manage or even troubleshoot and support them. So in order to deploy and install configurations, we are introducing an engineer level training and engineer level exam. For the next one, the higher tier, we would like to install analyst level training and analyst level exam. The engineer level is also called day one, where people install and configure. The analyst level is called a day two operations, where solutions are already designed and deployed, the engineers can go and immediately analyze, see what's happening in the network environment. The highest tier that we planning to create is architect level. When we say planning to create, we don't have this as of today. This is something that we wanted to have implement in the coming months. Probably by end of next year, 2026, we will be completing this architect level. And we will have architect level exams and architect level learning path for all the engineers like you. Now, what I wanted to do in this session here is I would like to give you how this framework align with our instructor-led trainings. So we have fundamental level, generalist level, professional and architect level. In order to go into detail of this, we would like to do a little bit mapping on the products and platform that we have in Palo Alto Networks. When we say platform, we would like to summarize some of the products into specific groups, like a network security platform and security operations platform. In the network security platform, we will have products like firewall, Prisma Access, Prisma SD-WAN. There are several other products too, but I would like to stay focused on these key products. For example, Panorama is also part of network security platform. Strata Cloud Manager is part of network security platform, but it actually works together with this product. Therefore, I would like to stick with this key major product. Similarly, for SecOps, we will have XDR for endpoint security, XOR for security automation orchestration and response, XIM for the next generation SIM kind of solutions for the people in the SecOps environment, and Cortex Cloud, previously known as Prisma Cloud, recently has been rebranded as a Cortex Cloud for cloud security. And finally, we will also have another product called Cortex Expanse. This is primarily focusing on attack surface management, providing you remediation actions. Now, let's try map the framework that we have discussed in the previous slides into this platform approach. The fundamental level learning and management approach. For the fundamental level, this will become a foundation for both platform. The training and certification we have for the fundamental will be introducing you how to start your journey into cybersecurity, regardless of network security or SecOps. It is actually for both platforms. As I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, we will have two certifications. One is called apprentice, the other one is called practitioner. The apprentice is more towards vendor agnostic. The practitioner is a applied science approach where we're going to introduce or applied our solutions into this cybersecurity world. Excuse me. And we decided to make the learning path for this apprentice and practitioner as a digital learning for now. And we will not have instructor-led training for this. It is purely digital learning based approach and is entirely free. Anyone can come to Palo Alto Networks learning management platform, create an account, log in, and navigate or search for this cybersecurity apprentice, for example. They can start to learn by themselves, and there is a free assessment in this digital learning management platform. They can complete the assessment. If they are ready, they can go and take the exam called cybersecurity apprentice or practitioner. So in a summary, there is no instructor-led training for fundamental. It is entirely digital learning management approach. You can log in, create an account. Most likely you already have an account, and just log in and then self-study, complete the assessment. And if you feel ready, you can start taking the actual exam at Pearson VUE. I would like to make some slight changes to this slide. There is a little typo here. Sorry about that. And let me continue. The next level is called professional level. For network security platform, we will have one exam called Network Security Professional. In the slide, you are seeing Network Security Generalist. Actually, the professional and generalist, they are the same. It was introduced as a generalist, but we decided to change the name from generalist to the professional. For those who have already completed this exam recently, there are a few people, I can see it in the system, have completed the exam. The logo will be updated to the network security professionals soon. And again, for the professional level, we will have digital learning approach only. There won't be any instructor-led training. We will have assessment in digital learning management platform. You can complete it, and then if you're ready, you can take the exam. Similarly, for SecOps, we will have actually two exam and digital learning. And the exam is called Security Operations Professional and Cloud Security Professional. For the Security Operations Professional, or generally the other word, is available as of today. And for those who wanted to prepare for this, you can self-study in a digital learning and complete the assessment and take the exam. And for cloud security, we are planning to introduce the exam, like I mentioned in the previous slide, in a few more months. It will be available. The reason is previously this product is called Prisma Cloud, and about a few weeks ago, we rebranded this Prisma Cloud into Cortex Cloud. We merged this into a Cortex product family or platform. With these recent changes, we wanted to wait for the GUIs to get stabilized, and once it's ready, we're going to create an exam for this product. Now, if you look at these platforms carefully, for the network security platform, there are three products. So the professional level exam or the generalist, this exam is targeting all three products in a single exam. So this is like high level overview of the entire platform. Similarly, for SecOps, the security operations generalist or security operations professionals is the newer name. This exam will cover XDR, XOR, and XIM on a high level overview. And cloud security will have its own. And Cortex expands, we don't have any plans to create a dedicated one because it'll be covered in the XIM product itself as a name called Attack Surface Management, and it'll be covered in this exam. Next, we're going to discuss a little bit about the specialist level. For the specialist level, we'll be introducing instructor-led trainings. So if someone's starting their journey in cybersecurity from scratch, from fresh, they can start their journey at the fundamental level by learning apprentice and practitioner. There is no prerequisite. They can start the journey anywhere in this path, but we would like to recommend to start from fundamental level if they're starting their journey from scratch. And then they can choose a path, whether they wanted to become an expert in NetSec or SecOps. If they wanted to become an expert in a NetSec, they can start their journey. They can continue their journey with the network security professional or generalist. And after that, they can come to a specialist level exam and training for that specific product. For specialist level, we will have instructor-led training, digital learning, same as professional and fundamental level, and assessment. And you can attend the training, self-paced e-learning, complete the assessment. If you feel ready, you can start the exam. For architect level, this is something that we wanted to create in the next year. We will have one architect level exam for NetSecs, and we will have one architect level for SecOps. We also planning to have one architect level for cloud security. For Cortex Expense, we will keep it as a digital learning, and we will have assessment and in digital learning management platform. You can self-paced study this and then complete the assessment. And the expense part, we will also have this covered in the XIM, like I mentioned earlier. So this is the new framework that we have created. This is something that we wanted to achieve. Like I mentioned earlier, we already achieved about almost 60-70% of this framework. And I'm going to cover this in more detail in the coming slide by focusing on network security specialists, because most of the audiences here in sessions are at this specialist level.
Can I throw a quick question out to you? We've actually been getting a couple of requests, a couple of people wondering about prerequisites. Do you have to go to a certain level? Can you start right at specialist, or do you have to have professional first? Do you have a stance on that yet?
Thank you, Charles. And we are not, the new framework is a beautiful framework, actually. It's called role based framework. With this role based framework, we don't set any prerequisite. You decide where you fit it into this framework. If you think you are a specialist level person, you can come straight to the specialist level, attend the training or self paced digital learning, and then take the exam. You do not have to attend the lower level trainings. If you want, you can. It is recommended, but it's not mandatory. Like I said, it is recommended and it's not mandatory. Charles, did I answer that questions?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. Keep coming, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Feel free to pose your questions. I don't monitor the question now. Charles can guide me whenever. Charles, if you feel you need me to address the question immediately, I'll address that immediately.
Yep.
Otherwise, we can keep the questions towards the end.
Yeah, I'm definitely collecting them for the end for you. No question. Yep.
Thank you. All right, let us focus on the specialist level training and certifications for now. For network security platform, let's start with network security platform. We have firewall, Prisma Access, and SD-WAN. So for firewall, at this point of time, we have a training called EDU 210, which is teaching you how to install, configure, and manage firewall. I believe most of you have attended this training. That's one of the most popular training in Palo Alto Networks. EDU 330, this is a troubleshooting training for specifically for firewall. We have another product called Panorama for centralized management. If customers have multiple firewalls and they wanted to manage it from a single pane of glass, they've been using Panorama since the earlier days. And Panorama is a 2-day training focusing on how to manage multiple firewall in a single pane of glass and logging and reporting. So these are the 3 trainings available for firewalls related. And then one exam called PCNSE. We also had PCNSA in the past. PCNSA has been discontinued on December 31st. It's no more available. But if you took the exam in the past, it is still valid for the next 2 more years from the date passed the exam. PCNSE, on the other hand, it is a legacy exam. It is still available as of today. And we have announced the end of life date as July 31st. After July 31st, this exam will no more available in Pearson VUE. If you take this exam today, that exam is still valid for 2 years for yourself. And after July 31st, we will have a newer exam, which I'm going to show you in this slide shortly. For every exam, we also have digital learning. And you can also, if you think you have attended the training, if you wanted to further do reading and prepare for the exam, you can always go for the digital learning and then prepare for the exam. And the newer exam that we introduced that going to replace PCNSA and PCNSE both is the next gen firewall engineer level exam. The next gen firewall engineer level exam will replace PCNSA and PCNSE. So PCNSA and PCNSE both will be discontinued. And the only exam you have for firewall in the future is next gen firewall engineer. But the customers also ask, I also have analyst level people, and we also wanted to have a dedicated exam called analyst level. We also have introduced an analyst level exam just about a few weeks ago. The analyst level exam will be focusing on, like I mentioned earlier, if the product is already installed, already configured, already deployed, and ready to use in the environment, if a traffic is going through the firewall, how do I analyze in more detail? And as of now, we have instructor-led training for firewalls, and you can attend this, and you can learn troubleshooting in 330. You can learn Panorama, and you can further do reading in the digital learning, and you can go for the exam called Network Next Gen Firewall exam. In the coming slide, I'll give you some tips on how to prepare for this exam. And we will have instructor-led training matching to this, which is EDU 210. And for network security analysts, we are planning to create an instructor-led training And we don't have it as of today. We only have digital learning for analyst level for now. So you can refer to Beacon Digital Learning Management Platform, do a self-paced e-learning, and take the analyst level exam if you want. And some tips for you: the analyst level exam will be focusing more on Strata Cloud Manager. So if you look at the exam data sheet and blueprint, you will see and why there is more focus on Strata Cloud Manager. When the time comes in the future session, we will be covering the analyst level in more detail. But for now, in today's session, I'll be explaining a little bit more detail on next generation firewall engineer, and that exam will be a targeted exam for firewall for you. In the future, if you wanted to take, if you say, hey, I've attended firewall training, which exam I need to take? Next gen firewall engineer exam is the one that you need to take. Next, Prisma Access. For Prisma Access, we have two different type of training. One is Strata Cloud Manager based options. The other one is Panorama based options. And in the past, we used to have a training called EDU 318, which is using Panorama to install, configure, and manage Prisma Access. And after some time, Palo Alto Network introduced Strata Cloud Manager, SCM in short. And SCM is more powerful. It has more analytics, more reporting, more robust approach, and AI at the back end. And so SCM is more powerful approach for many customers that are using Prisma Access. Many customers are actually interested in using SCM to manage Prisma Access. So we introduced a training called Prisma Access SSE, Secure Service Edge, in configuring and deploying Prisma Access. So if you attend this training, we have an exam called Security Service Edge exam, SSE exam. The Panorama approach is actually, we consider this as a legacy exam. And I personally think this Panorama centralized network security administrator exam will slowly, gradually will be disappearing, because if there is no demand, we will discontinue this training. We'll be focusing more on Prisma Access SSE training and Prisma Access SSE exam. Of course, we have digital learning. You can attend the training called Prisma Access SSE and refer to the digital learning for further reading. When you are ready, complete the assessment in Beacon and then sit for the exam. The legacy approach, Panorama, the training will be there, and we will not have a dedicated training for this, but the Panorama approach in managing Prisma Access will be also covered in the SSE engineer level exam. For SD-WAN, we have EDU 238 and the legacy training, and we rebranded this training with Prisma SD-WAN configure and deployment. And we also plan to introduce an exam for this. We don't have it as of today, and we do have digital learning available. In fact, digital learning is available for all the trainings, all the products in Palo Alto Networks, because we have digital first approach. The moment a product is out, we will introduce digital learning immediately. You can always refer to the digital learning first. And instructor-led training will be follow the digital learning after some time if there is a demand for that product, and we will create a digital instructor-led training for that. And now back to this Prisma SD-WAN. And for Prisma SD-WAN, we don't have an exam as of today. We are planning to introduce one shortly. And in the detailed segment in this session, I will be going through each one of this exam in a little bit detail. So don't worry. This is high-level overview for you. Now, let's look at on a high-level overview for SecOps. Let's start this from XIM. For Cortex XIM, we have two trainings and then two exams. One is focusing on an engineer level, and one is focusing on analyst level. For engineer level, we have Cortex XIM Security Operation Integration and Automation. This is engineer level instructor-led training. And for this instructor-led training, we have an exam called Cortex XIM Engineer. Of course, we also have digital learning and assessment in digital learning. You can refer to the assessment and digital learning before sit for the exam. And if you look at this carefully, there are two level of exam here, unlike the NetSec. One is called engineer, the other one is analyst. Training, one is for engineer, the other one is for the analyst. And similar approach will also happen for the Cortex XO, but Cortex XO is in the roadmap for us now, and it's currently is using legacy training called EDU 380. And the legacy exam is called PCSA E exam, Security Automation Orchestration Engineer exam. And we have digital learning for this. And this is also a good slide to do some comparison. In Palo Alto Network, we decided to discontinue in using course code for all courses we have because it's probably a little bit confusing for people like you. We wanted to replace all the course code with actual name. So if you look at Cortex XIM, and we don't have a course code for Cortex XIM. Is as the name applies, Cortex XIM Investigation Analyst. This is a analyst level training. If you attend analyst level training, you can take analyst level exam. It is more straightforward approach. For Cortex XO, this is legacy level training called EDU 380. Currently, the courseware version is version 6, but the product is version 8. And the courseware is going through changes now because the product is also going through changes. And we are almost done completing the instructor-led training for updated version for Cortex XO. And hopefully it will be released in a couple of weeks or a couple of months in the coming months. And because it's already available, we are just doing some proofreading. Once it's ready, we'll be replacing this with the newer exam and newer course. Okay, stay tuned. The newer course will be based on version 8. Currently, it's based on version 6. For Cortex XDR, we have two legacy level training called EDU 260 and EDU 262. We also have digital learning, same like any other courses. And we are planning to update this legacy courses, match something like Cortex XIM called Cortex XDR Engineer, Cortex XDR Analyst. Engineer is the first entry-level training, or probably I would say day 1, and the analyst is a day 2 level training. So 260 is very similar to that. This is day 1, 262 is a day 2. 260 is engineer, 260 is an analyst. And we will be updating this course in the coming months as well. And we are almost completed updating this course. It's on a beta version internally. We're planning to introduce this in the coming weeks. And for the exam part, the XDR engineer is already available as of today, and XDR analyst is also available as of today. If you wanted to sit for these exams, you can do a self-paced e-learning in the digital learning, or attend EDU 260 and sit for the exam for engineer, and 262 is the training for the analyst as of today. Like I said, we are going to update these two trainings in the coming weeks. The legacy exam is called PCDRA. PCDRA has been discontinued recently, and so let's not talk much about PCDRA for now. If you say, hey, I have taken my PCDRA let's say last month, and it is still valid. It's still valid for the next 2 more years for you. Okay, so you no need to worry. Now,